Hello, welcome back to another episode of Untrap Your Brain. I am Uzioma. Look at me now. When you look at me, what do you see? Do you really see me, or you see your perception of me in me? Do you see the reality for what it is, or do you see it from a view, your past experience, or from your perception? Well, so today we'll be looking at what do you see? Yes, that's what we'll be discussing about. What are your lenses? Because whatever that happens in the world has to do with your own lenses, right? If you have abundance of love, you're going to look at others with abundance of love, right? And if you have abundance of kindness, you're going to look at people with abundance of kindness. And if you have abundance of wealth, you're going to look at people with abundance of wealth. That is why you will see pictures of wealthy people saying that the poor people are lazy. That's because they have an abundance and they felt like that the poor people should have the same, or maybe they thought that people don't want it. So that is what it means. So with what lenses do you look at reality? Are you looking at reality with your past experiences, with your perception of the world, or with the news flying out all around the television? That is just it. So let's use the red card theory. When you go out, you hardly see red cars. You hardly see the colors of cars. You only see the colors of cars when you think about a particular color to be popular. That is just it. You will never know that red cars is very popular until you begin to think about them and start looking out for them, start watching out for them. Meaning that when you now start going out on the road, you begin to look out for red cars. And surprisingly, you begin to see them. You don't see the things that you actually want because you're not watching out for it, you're not looking out for it. That is just it. Sometimes we may think that we are looking out for the things that we want, or we're thinking about the things that we want to become, but sadly we're not. What we might be thinking about is what the constraint stopping us from becoming that, the fears, the stories. People will tell you, so many people have tried it, are you the only one? So that is the thought you have in your heart. So then when you go about your day, that thought is already there. And that's what you think about. Some will tell you Tinubu is Tinubu regime. So and then you're going to your workplace with Tinubu mindset that okay, Tinubu is the leader, so there's hardship. You don't know what you're doing to yourself. And that is why I always advocate, I said, whatever you don't like, don't think about it. Don't think about it. Because the moment you start pondering on it, you're giving it life. Because I said, as man thinketh, then imagine in your heart, you always think about the things you do not have. The things you do not have, the things that could go wrong. How bad the country is, how bad the traffic is. Sadly, very sadly, you keep on having such experiences that confirms those things that you think. And then you will not have any problem with it because you're familiar with it. That is what you're thinking. And that is what you're watching out for. You may think, no, I didn't want to be poor. No, you don't want to be poor, but the fear that you could be poor is what you are thinking. And that is why you experience that. I used to tell people you don't have control about what the universe is going to throw on you, but you have control over your heart. You have control over your responses, what you decide to respond to. The thing is, that which you have control over, do you really exercise that control over it? Or do you let things just come to you and pass through, or do you work through default mode? And that is why I ask again, when you look at me, what do you see? Your perception of me, what you think that I am? Oh, I'm just making a video and sharing with you what I've researched so far and how far it is. That is just it. So it depends on how aligned you are. So the question is, how aligned are you? Right? So, how aligned are you to the things that is just it? What are you thinking? What do you see when you look at reality? That is what is going to change anything. That is what is going to determine what is going to happen to you. You don't have control about the universe. You don't have control about anything, but you have control over your thought. So now that's what I'm beseeching you. As a man thinks who he is, and then I have to just think about the only thing that I want. That is the theory, and that is faith. You setting out time to pray, wonderful. But after prayer, what is in your heart? Does your heart confirms that prayer? Does your heart resonate God in everything? In everything that goes on your head, on your mind? So that is just it. So today I leave you with this pure message or with this one message. What do you really see? Do you see God? Oh, you see what He wanted to see, what you are familiar with. So what are you familiar with? It changes. It matters. So prayer isn't setting out time to. Prayer is also your heart. So what goes on your heart? What is happening in your heart? What is happening to you? Thank you. We've come to the end of today's episode. So if anything that I've said today was not anything in you, please share with me. You can reach out to me on my WhatsApp. You can also drop your comment. Please drop your comment. Reaching out to me on WhatsApp is very nice, but also drop your comment so that others can see and learn too. Thank you very much.